Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome back to the Life School MasterClass SHOW. I'm back on with another amazing guest, and we're going to be talking about how to strive through challenges and savor the sweetness of life. As usual, you can find us on any major platform. This is also being podcasted wherever your podcasts are being played. And we're always looking for sponsors and guests. So shoot us an email. It'll be an email on the bottom of this video, so you can reach us that way. Um, I want to welcome my guest today, Rachel. Rachel, thank you so much for finding time to have a chat regarding this very important topic. I feel like everyone can relate to this.
I am so appreciative of joining you today, and I really love the life school theme because really we are kind of in school just trying to get through from day to day and learning how to thrive through our challenges and getting back up, you know,
Mm,
when it's rough.
absolutely. That's the vision that came to me. I feel like we're always life students. We're always learning, even though we're done with maybe our traditional education. In life, we're always learning new skills. We want to pivot, we want to follow our purpose. So, life is just a big platform where we can just really continue to learn and grow, and it never really ends. So, yeah, I'm glad that you resonate with that as well. So, Rachel, give us a little bit of an introduction. People don't know you yet.
So, my challenge in part is due to my heart failure. And before I was diagnosed with heart failure, I spent a lot of time ping ponging around trying to find a clear direction and of where I wanted to go and what direction I wanted to follow. I have a degree in sociology, and that path didn't quite turn out. It turned into something quite unexpected and really beautiful in the end, which is in part what led me here to you today. Um, I've always really been focused on being of service to the community. That's partly why I chose the major that I did. Spent a lot of time in retail and just working with customers and things like that. However, about 10 years ago, when I became sick, the idea first came to me about how we really need to focus more on taking care of ourselves and taking time for ourselves and savoring the bliss and the sweetness in life and taking care of our hearts. And that wasn't just because when I first was diagnosed, I wasn't even thinking about that because my mother was dying of cancer. But when at her funeral, I was just inspired to write something, tribute to her because everybody was always amazed at how she took the time. She found the time and she made the time to take time for me and for herself to do the things that she loved outside of work. And
Mhm.
that's kind of where that the seed was planted. I'll say that. And unfortunately, 2 years ago, uh, my husband, who I met along the way, passed away. And that's really when this message that I received is like, okay, I really need to do something. So that's why I'm starting to really dive into this purpose that I found and this path that I found myself on.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, that's so. How do you persevere? And we'll talk a little bit about like how life connects and how things that happen to us. I don't think anything happens by chance, but how things are somehow connected and they lead you towards that next path. But how did you persevere through those losses? Very close people
It
that were very
it
close to you.
it took a lot of time. I will share with you that I have several physical challenges, and I have struggled with my mental health and anxiety for since I was a little girl. So since middle school. And so it wasn't an easy thing for me to do, and I still struggle with a lot of those things. I was crying this morning, but crying is also a healthy thing. We have to release all of this stuff because stuff got stuck. Stuff gets stuck in our bodies if we don't deal with it and find healthy outlets for it.
Mm.
So that And then when we moved here, my husband was in the Navy. So after he got out of the service, we moved to his hometown here in Erie. And by chance, I happened across an amazing dance teacher and yoga instructor who really kind of helped me open up. Because you can't do any of this stuff alone. It takes a community a lot of the time,
Yes.
to lean on and to be supported. You have your fabulous community and are trying to support other people in their visions and their dreams. And we can all learn a lot from each other in that respect, but also just to be compassionate towards one another, I think is vital in trying to persevere for these challenges and just being there. I mean, I have a lot of friends who are struggling right now, and just being there and showing that you're there in the smallest ways is sometimes big things to them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, holding the space. And I love two things that you said there, right? So it's when you're dealing with these emotions. I haven't personally had a close loss, so I can't say that I can relate. But just understanding through, life's challenges. I've had challenges. I'm sure everyone has challenges. I think it's the way that we grow. Some of them are definitely more, harder to overcome than others. And in this case, it's really, understanding our emotion and letting us feel them and taking our time. There's no timeline.
Right.
So I love that you said that, rather than kind of stuff our feelings down. A lot of people do that, and that's how we show up in other behaviors that are gonna really harm us. So really feeling those feelings and letting yourself go through those emotions, and really reach out for support. I mean, that's really important, having a community around you that can support you through those tough times. Those are, I would say those are key things that as social beings, we always need that support. Even though, especially with a lot of times when we're in business, especially as women in business, we like to be so independent and we like to just make everything happen. But a lot of times we don't realize that we still need people. We're still doing things with people. We always need people around us,
Right.
especially the right people, to help us, to carry us through the next endeavor that we're trying to accomplish. So it's really cool. Rachel, so how do you want to help other people through this? Because I feel like that's something that's what you mentioned, leads you into your next purpose. How do you use your pain to make an impact and help someone else?
Well, I think that in part, going so many rounds with, I don't know if do you know who Charlie Brown was? The comic Charlie Brown? It's the Peanuts character.
Yes.
So if you like me, I've gone several rounds with the kite eating tree of life. So I think hearing from people who have been through stuff and how they're continuing to choose to thrive and to make the choices to keep going despite everything that's going on and despite how hard it may be is important, so that they can hear, that somebody's been kind of climbed that mountain or is climbing it and is still persisting no matter how things get bad. And so I think that way, but it's not just using my pain. When I say savor the sweetness, we aren't here indefinitely on this planet. My husband passed away at the age of 40 when he was going to school. When he's getting ready to go to school, he passed away. And so I think that it's really also important to remember to be good to ourselves and to treat ourselves to that bliss and to look for it in life.
Yeah, it's how do you turn your pain into power, so you can move through and actually impact other people through that? And that takes a lot of strength, and unfortunately not many people can do that. They stay stuck in their pain. So I love that you've been able to do that, and you're attempting to do just that with your life. Use your challenges as somebody else's safety blanket, helping someone else through the challenge that they might be going through. So what do you mean? And I also could so relate to we're here temporarily. So what kind of impact do we want to make? We have to live life as if it's not guaranteed, right? So we need to always think of that, and even push for our dreams, right? Push for the things that we always want to do, because there's no guarantee. and you don't want to, leave with regret. I don't know, for me personally, that's always been the thing that drives me, going through life with, you know, living your dreams and chasing them, because there is no guarantee that there is tomorrow, but at least you tried your hardest.
Right.
So it's really, really beautiful. And tell me a little more about the savoring the sweetness of life. Like, what does that mean to you? I know
That was
a little bit
a
of.
message that my aunt sent to me shortly after my husband passed away. She said, savor the sweetness and let go of everything else. Now, it's hard to let go of all the crap.
Mm,
It is. I mean, because it sticks to you. And, like I said the other day on a post on Facebook, the kite eating tree won again because something came up and that stirred up all of my anxiety and all of this other stuff. But because of compassionate people, because I had help, the situation turned out okay. So but really just to focus, like the first thing I do in the morning when I wake up, I come outside and I look up at the sky, for inspiration and for breath and for joy and beauty. And even if it's gray out, I can still look for the light in between the clouds and just try and hold on to that a little bit.
mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm outside now, and my picture's a little glary because I know that porch perching time for me is healing time, and it helps me get through all of the other stuff. So it's about finding all of the tools that work for you. I don't expect you to be up dancing around 6:30 in the morning in your kitchen with like Guns N' Roses or some other band playing real loud and just stopping and twirling around. That works for me, but you might prefer something a little bit softer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really about my journey here is really about helping to guide you to find your heart song and to reconnect to your heart. Like if I were to ask you right now, what does your heart need? What might you say?
That's a really thoughtful, insightful question, because a lot of times we don't listen to our heart. We're using our brain to really, go through life. So really, taking a moment and really thinking with that question in mind and kind of tuning into your inner guidance, it's really, really amazing to really access that inner wisdom. So I love that you said that. I'm gonna practice that in my daily meditation, because we all have a practice, and I love what you said. Everyone has to find their own thing that works for them, but as long as there's something that is consistent, and you can always go to when life throws you stones along the way that you need to overcome. So it's definitely part of your routine, and it's definitely very, very important. Rachel, thank you for everything you've shared. I hope we have inspired. I always say on everything I do, if we inspired one person, then it was all worth the conversation. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And I want to ask you any last message, any last thing that you would like to share with our audience before you go, and want to send people over to Facebook to connect with you if they would like to connect with you further.
Yeah. It was just such a joy to be with all of you and to connect with you today. And really just take a moment with yourself and just breathe it in and ask that question, what does my heart need today? Or what does my heart need right now? Mine needs joy and play and fun, but it also needs for me to start preparing for winter so that, the porch is my favorite place in my house right now. That's not going to fly when the snow flies. So, you have to kind of find the balance between what's necessary and what's fun as well to keep pushing through everything. But just really remember to savor life and to treat yourself to something good this weekend. Thank you.
Hmm. I love that. So I'm going to end with that question: is what does my heart need right now? And start practicing that as a way to really dig into that inner intuition. Thank you so much, Rachel, for coming on. And we have actually reached the end of our show. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye.